Hello and welcome to another fly tying session with your host Scott. In this session we're going to be tying a spey fly. It's unusual for a spey fly, called the Lady Caroline. Now most spey flies don't have a tail. This one does. This one's a fairly famous one from the mid-19th century, and it was fished by a lady called Lady Caroline, and apparently she was that good at salmon fishing she used to be able to feed the whole estate. So this particular fly, I'm sure, will be quite a good one. So in the vise I've got a size 6 partridge Bart Fleet Bend salmon single. This is my box that I keep them in. I haven't got the packet, the original packet anymore, but they're by Partridge. The thread we're going to be using is black in 8/0. We've got to use 2 ribs. One rib will be made from a very fine silver wire. The other rib will be made with a fairly wide tinsel. This one's a 12 gauge or 3/64 of an inch. It's gold one side, silver the other. We're going to be using the silver side. We're going to need a Golden Pheasant crest. We're going to need 2 parts of this. We're going to need the topping at the back here for the tail, and then we're going to need some feathers that run down the side of the tippets for the beard. And for the main hackle, the main hackle was traditionally made using heron. Now in this country heron is now protected, and therefore we have to use substitutes. So I've came up with a substitute of my own. This is Canada Goose. It's got a nice spade shaped feather that winds very similar to a partridge feather. You tie it in at the tip, but you have to work it a little bit to get it to go where you want with your brushes. And then finally, not finally, for the wing we're going to be using Mallard, bronze Mallard to be more precise, and for the body we're going to be using an olive dubbing of some description. That's some I've made myself. It seems to match the colour I've seen online for this fly. This is also the first fly I've tied on my brand new vise. I've already posted my initial thoughts of that, so if you want to watch that, I'll pop a link in the top right hand corner right about now. And so we'll get on with tying the fly. So with these particular hooks, the bend is actually, you have to close the bend yourself with the tying thread, as it were. So you're going to come in fairly tight with the thread there, and that should do you. Now if you were using an oval tinsel, you'd tie it in at this point, but we're not using one of those, so we're going to go straight down to where it dangles in line with the point. With fairly even turns. I wouldn't worry about having them touching as such. We use too much thread doing that. Now I tie salmon flies mainly for frames and for show. I don't tie them to fish with. I don't know how to fish for salmon or where in Wales, if I'm honest. It's a bit of a sport for the gentry in this country, and therefore I am excluded. So we've got a Golden Pheasant topping that's been dyed red. I didn't mention that at the start, and we want it so once we tie it in, it's facing up the way. I like to wet it so it's all sticking together. I don't want it about that long, just a little bit past the bend of the hook. And the thread is dangling in line with the point of the hook. Now if you was putting a tag on this hook, you're in line with the barb, but this fly has got no tag on it. Then we're going to tie in a length of this silver wire. It's quite a nice looking fly when this is done, it has to be said. It's one of my favourite spey flies, but it is in a family of its own really. I mean, traditionally spey flies did not have a tail. Now, according to the literature, I can't remember the gilly's name. I will include it in the research notes. But it was Lady Caroline's gilly that came up with this particular pattern. So, unfortunately, it's not. Well, it is credited to him, but it is known as the Lady Caroline, the pattern. So then we're going to tie in the other rib, gold side up. Let's try that again. It's quite a wide tinsel, so it can be difficult to work with. And then we're going to tidy up. And then I've got no material clip on my new vise, so I'm just hiding it behind the tightening wheel. Then we're going to go back down to where we want the body to start. Now, I did tie one of these on camera in a rush, and I neglected to do my research. It was very late at night. I was getting ready for bed, so hopefully you'll excuse me. This is the one I tied earlier, and you might notice something different there. The wing is peacock. I didn't realise it was a mallard wing, so we are retying it and we're doing it properly. I definitely believe in at least doing them properly if you've got the materials to do so, especially an old 19th century pattern. So there's not really a museum for flies that I'm aware of, so my channel is the museum for some people. So we're going to add a fairly slim body of this olive dubbing. We're going to need a lot more than that. It's actually a blend of 3 wools that I've whizzed up in a coffee grinder. There's a dark olive green one, lightened with a little tan. I think there's a little bit of dark brown gone in as well. And this is the same dubbing I used to tie my damsel nymphs actually. I'm not really interested in tapering the body as such. I just want to get it fairly even. Because the rib's going to cover most of it. I'm trying to go fairly quickly with it as well, because when I tied it very late at night, it took over 20 minutes to tie this particular pattern. The salmon patterns do take a while. I'm having 10 minutes in now without editing. Go back a bit and not do that. Definitely better. Rushing too much there. I mean, you can take all the time you like when you're doing it off camera. I'll probably do it for the dubbing now. I'll take it up to there. I want to leave enough room for my hackle and my beard. So we're going to wind the thick tinsel first in fairly wide turns, as wide as you can. I think traditionally it actually had 5 turns on it, so that's about right. And tie that off. I thought it would be nice to do a nice proper Scottish fly pattern on a Scottish vice for the first one. That's why I've chosen this pattern. Now then what you want to do is you want to wind the wire in between the tinsel turns. Like that. I'll pull the thread tight and give the wire a wiggle. There we go. There we go, that's got it. Right, then we're going to tie in our Canada Goose Hackle. Now I've picked some of the darker grey ones to match heron, obviously. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find the point of the feather, which is not too hard to find, with my hackle pliers. We're going to get rid of this fluff here. You just strip back against the stalk like so. And then brush these fibres back. They do stick together. It's going to look an absolute mess, but I will sort it out. The heron seems to separate better. Heron was always traditionally used in Spey flies. Getting hold of it now is practically impossible, at least for me. There should be enough room for the hackle. Probably want about 3 turns of this. You don't want it too heavily dressed. Oh, that was the other thing with the other version of this video. I actually, it was filmed out of focus as well. So I'm going to wind this by hand because it's big enough. I'm going to brush the fibres back for each turn. Oh, this one's actually behaving quite nicely. There we are, that's in, and then tie it off. Put another turn in there just in case. There we go, more for luck. And then we're going to take this stalk out. It's really thick, the stalk. Use the meat of the scissors for that bit. If there's anything going forward, brush it back. And then you can get your brush and sort of manipulate it so it looks, so the feathers split. It creates a lovely shape, it's got to be said. It's a very good heron substitute, this particular feather. Right, then we're going to put the beard hackle in. That's quite easily done. Just turn the fly upside down, and these golden pheasant dyed red tippet feathers will have some feathers down the side that you can use for this. These ones here without the black tips. You could use the ones with the black tips if you wanted to. There's no harm in doing that. Try and line them up so that they're, you know, roughly the same length. It doesn't really matter. You want to create quite a rough look anyway. And have it so that the furthest one is just the same length to the point of the hook to get the proportions correct for the fly. And then tie them in. Come in and trim away. I'm going to get rid of that stalk while I'm here. I've just spotted it. So we're ready for the wing now. Now the great thing about a bronze mallard wing is they're fairly easy to do. You want a fairly sizable feather. I'm going to take off the fluff. I'm actually going to leave the stalk in. And you fold it. You want it so that the tail is the same length, sorry, the wing is the same length to the tail. I don't know why my dad's parrot has taken to making stupid noises while I'm trying to film, so my apologies for that. He keeps making a high-pitched squeak. It might be the sound my bobbin used to make before I sorted that problem out, funnily enough. I can't get this tail to behave either. I think that's as close as we're going to get there. So come in and trim away your wing. And then just start to form your head. I'm sure my bobbin used to make that noise actually. I don't know whether you can hear him. He's a very clever bird, he's an African grey. Okay, that's the head formed. And I'm going to come in and whip finish. Just going to check the other side. Oh, there's a bit more mallard still on show there. There we go, that's better. And come in and whip finish. We're well past 20 minutes again. Never mind. It's only because I've had to redo the wing, I think. now, that is the fairly famous Spey Fly, the Lady Caroline. Now all we need to do is varnish it. Now there is a trick with the varnishing. You can super glue the head and then add the varnish. That means you use less coats of varnish, but we're just going to varnish it for now. And there we are. That is the Lady Caroline. Let's see if we can just get that tail looking right again. I don't know why there's a split in it. There we go. Thank you all very much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.